All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we get into Christmas plumbing issues. We get into stray dogs. We get into people being sick. We get into money embezzling. What else do we get into? New Year's stuff, holiday stuff, more gym stuff. A lot of stuff today on the episode. Plus, we got a great cage fact. So stay tuned. It's all coming up right now. All right, jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to the Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti. Hope everybody had a good week. I certainly had an eventful one. It's Christmas. We got New Year's. By the time you hear this, it'll be New Year's, or by the time you tune in, if you're watching it on the YouTubes. But anyway, I hope everybody had a good week. What did I forget already? The tagline, show about nothing that finds the lessons and everything and has a good time doing it, and I already forgot about it. Crazy week. It's been a crazy week. I'm recording this in the days between Christmas and New Year's, so I'll talk about whatever I do on New Year's, after the fact, another episode perhaps. But this is that dead week. This is that dead week for everybody. Most people either take off work or have off of work, and the people that don't aren't really doing much of anything because they can't really get much done because other people are taking off from work or whatever. So it's the dead week. Every day is a weekend. You don't know what to do with yourself. Most people are sitting on their couches like fat blobs doing nothing. Well, I'm not judging. I did some fat blob stuff. So it's just a weird time between Christmas and New Year's where it's holiday hangover. You're eating, leftover desserts. You're suffocating in wrapping paper still if you have kids and their toys and everything is just crushing you. You think you want to clean up and get your life reset, but then New Year's comes and a lot of people do stuff for New Year's and it's a whole mess. So it's tough to power through. Randy, stop looking over there. Randy's over there by the refrigerator. If you're not paying attention if you're in iTunes and Spotify land and not YouTube land, and I bought some ground beef, and the juices from the package dripped down onto the floor, and you can only clean it up so much. The dogs still smell the remnants of the blood from the beef, and Randy goes to town on that stuff all the time. So I can't be helped. So that's what he was doing. I had to stop him. I busted him. But what the hell do I want to talk about? Oh, Christmas. Had a very nice, low-key Christmas Eve, Christmas Day holiday situation to finish off the holy holiday triumvirate. For me, I know some of you bozos like New Year's. I don't. And I'll tell you what I'll be doing for New Year's, and then I'll tell you how it went after the fact. But the last of the holy holiday triumvirate has come to an end, and it happened with Christmas. Christmas Eve, we spent here at the Libretti Nut House, and we had a smorgasbord of food. What did we have? My sister made fried fish. It was the last hurrah, not last hurrah, because we do it every year, but it was entrails of the Feast of the Seven Fishes that we used to do back when my grandparents were alive and we were doing Christmas Eve big with 50 people in Big Margaret's house in Flushing, Queens. And then in my Aunt Rosa's house in not Corona, in Roseland. So it's obviously smaller. It was just immediate family. Christmas Eve at our house. My sister made some fried fish. My father bought a couple of different types of fishes. some bacala, which is like a fish salad. I think it's codfish salad. It sounds codfish sounds terrible, but it's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. Uh, he also makes this every year. Um, it's call it alige, but it's anchovy. It's an anchovy sauce in linguine. Again, sounds terrible, and if you don't like anchovies, you're not gonna like it. This is definitely an acquired taste, but I love it, and my father makes it every year. Again, we used to do it big. We used to make a big pot of it, a pot of the sauce with some linguinis, but we don't anymore. But what you do with it, we make a smaller version. What you do with it is you don't just put cheese on it. My mother would make fine, fine breadcrumbs. We used to call it sawdust because it was so fine. So she would, I don't know how you do it, toast bread and then mash it up. I don't know what she did, but we would sawdust on top of that as well. And it really made a nice little treat there, Nikki Stick style. So we had that. And of course, we had desserts, different types of cookies and what have yous. And then Christmas Day, we went to my sister's house and had Christmas there. We watched the kids open gifts. We opened some gifts, and then we had my sister and brother made braised short ribs, which were delicious. Fall off the bone, didn't even need a knife. We just forked it, if you will. And I will, and I did. And then we had more cookies and desserts. And that's really where I spent most of my time. Oh, she also made some panettone French toast. Now I mentioned, I think previously, panettone is like a Italian breakfast pastry cake kind of conglomeration that you slice up and you toast, you put some butter on it. It's very flaky. It's almost like an Italian croissant cake. It's very light and doughy and flaky and what have you. And she made that into French toast and it was delicious. And then we had the short ribs with some vegetables and other what have yous, and then desserts. But I only had one short rib, and then the rest of my time was the different cookies that we had there. And I'm trying to think, we only had Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, we only had cookies, different types of cookies that were made. People brought over for us. They made whatever. I don't know why, but that's what we had. And then we had Christmas part two, where my dad's side of the family, who was spending Christmas doing their own thing, they came over to Libretti Nut House on Wednesday, and we had take two of Christmas, and that's where we had a couple of different types of desserts. What is that spiral cake? That log? What did they call that? Log cake? It's not log cake, but it looks like a Yule log cake. It's a giant yodel. If you ever had a yodel, it's a giant yodel. We had two of them, a chocolate one and a strawberry one, and they were delicious. And then we had some chocolate chip banana bread and some pizzelles, which are like waffle cookies almost, like little thin waffle cookies. You put some powdered sugar on it and what have you. Had some coffee. It was great. We had a good Christmas. I got my mom her stepwatch. I got my dad some gym membership stuff, and it was a good time. And so we had three celebrations of the holiday, three chances for me to corral all the cookies. And now I'm working through cookies, working through them. I got about 55 to 60 cookies left to go through. I'm just working at them and working at them and working at them. And I had to go work out just to make room and burn calories so I don't become a complete fatso. But that's what we're doing. That's what I live for, is the desserts during the holidays. So I'm here for it, and I'm working out a little extra to make room and to make sure my heart doesn't fail me. So hope you guys had a good Christmas as well, just like that. We did have a little bit of a fiasco, a little bit of an issue Christmas night. I guess it was really Christmas morning. It was Christmas Eve night, Christmas morning. We got home, or we got done with Christmas. No, it was Christmas night. It's the next day. Yeah, Christmas. Got home from my sister's. I threw a load of laundry in because I had to get ready for the weird week. I try to maintain a routine. Even though I'm not doing anything this week, I still like to dress the part like I usually do and still maintain on my schedule so that I can still get stuff done. It helps me get stuff done. And it allows me to better adapt to contingencies and what have yous if I'm in my routine. Anyway, so I'm doing laundry to get ready for the week. And about 1, 2 in the morning, uh, I go to make a pee pee in the dungeon bathroom, and there's water coming up from the shower. It's a stall shower, stand-up shower, and water's coming up while the washer is on the spin cycle. So the washer is releasing water, and it's instead of going through the pipes and out the septic, it's. Did you see that again? If you're watching on YouTube, it doesn't. I don't know how to turn this off, but the AI companion thing keeps popping up emojis on the screen that I don't ask it to do. It just guesses what my emotions are. Crazy. Anyway, instead of the water going over to the septic, it's there's a clog somewhere and it's coming up into the shower. So I go upstairs to tell my old man, "Hey, JPL3, wake up, turn Perry Mason off for a second. This is happening. I don't know if it's a clog or a burst pipe or whatever." He's like, "Well, turn the washer off. Let's see what happens." By the time I get down to the basement, the water is now overflowing over the little shower stall, the pan at the bottom, and into the bathroom. And then it's going through the wall between the bathroom and the rest of the dungeon basement in there. So now we got a bit of a problem. So I turn the washer off. The flowing stops. Now we got to clean up this water and figure out what we're going to do. We're toweling water up. And we make the decision we're not going to use the water until we can get a plumber or a roto-rooter guy to come in to deal with this issue, figure out what it is and deal with the issue. Well, I don't know if it was because it was early in the morning, 2, 3 in the morning by that time. And, my father was a little tired, delirious, not thinking clearly, but all he can focus on was one thing. And he wanted to call the plumber to come in immediately to take care of the issue, because how are we supposed to take dumps if we can't use the water, if we can't flush the toilet? And he must have said it, I don't know, 55 times in 30 minutes for while we were cleaning up, soaking towels up and throwing the towels outside so that whatever. The whole time, I think I should call. We're not going to be able to use the water. What if I got to get up in the middle of the night and take a dump? Your mother's got to work the next day. She likes to take dumps. What if she has to take a dump, but she can't take a dump? What are we going to do? The dogs can go outside. They can take dumps outside. We can't take dumps outside. Where are we going to take dumps? We need to take dumps. And I don't know. I was losing my mind because I just kept hearing the word dumps repeated over and over again. And I didn't even know how to answer him. I just want to be like, listen, it's not all about dumps. Okay? I know that's like a Libretti theme to focus on doo-doo and dumpies, but it's not all about dumps. Okay? There are a lot more important things in the world that we have to worry about in our lives than dumps, than being able to use toilet. We could go to the gym. There's 7-Eleven is open 24 hours. We can go to our neighbor's house and we could go in the woods. We live in the woods. Okay? Nobody's going to even see us at 3 in the morning if we had to take an emergency dump out there. All right? We could figure this out. But he was at the cusp of calling the plumber at 3 in the morning on Christmas to come in here and assess the situation so that we would not have to sit there and hold in our dumps any longer. I don't know how long the screen just paused on me, but I got shoddy camera, shoddy video today. I don't know why. I can't figure it out for the life of me. I've been working on it, on the tech, and it just keeps, every once in a while, it just keeps freezing up on me. I got to figure something out. I will figure something out. Anyway, we made a decision. He woke my mother up 3 in the morning. She has to work. She has to get up at 5 to go to work. And she convinces him forcefully, we're not calling any plumbers. We're not calling any septic guys. We're going to bed. Nobody has to take an emergency dump right now. We're going to be fine. We have buckets. I come to find out, the guys come in 40 minutes later. It's a clog, just a standard clog. The guy said 99% of the time, that's what it is. It's just a septic clog. And they had to snake it out and we're good to go. And 40 minutes later, a couple hundred hours later, and we were able to take dumps again, and all was right in the world. And this was maybe an hour or two after I woke up in the morning. We were basically free to take dumps. So there was no delay in dumpies at all. So crisis was averted. This video is really bothering me right now. Really bothering me. Anyway, crisis was averted. Everybody was able to dump peacefully, and we ended up having a good Christmas. So that was that. Then when you think things are going to calm down, the next morning, I'm in bed. It's probably 7:30, 8 in the morning. And that's when I usually set my alarm for to wake up. So I'm already kind of awake. My alarm just went off, and I hear outside my window. So I can't show you the situation. I'm not gonna take a picture and post it, but my window of my guest room in my parents' house looks right outside the front of the house, and there's the walkway, and then the front door is just to the right of that. If you're looking inside out, I hear right outside, there's on the front porch there, I hear my old man whistling. Come here, you got it. Come here. Don't go that way. Come this way. I imagine he's talking to an animal the way he was talking to this thing. It's how he usually talks to our dogs. It's like a human, and then he gets mad when they don't understand human words. So he keeps whistling, and I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. I go back. I try to snooze a little bit. Then I hear more whistling, and then I hear yelling. And we're talking within 10 minutes of the first whistle, the first volley of whistles to the next. And I hear yelling. I don't see anything yet. I'm not looking out the window. I don't see anything. I just hear, I've tried calling you 4 times. You said your ex-wife was coming to get the dog, but she must be sleeping because nobody's on the street. And if you don't come get this dog, I'm calling the cops. Like, what the hell is going on? So I get out of bed. I put some clothes on. I look out the window, and my dad has got this husky dog on a leash on the front porch. He's in flannel pajamas, a hat, an old Vietnam era war jacket that he bought at some army surplus store. And he's on the phone again, and he's leaving a voicemail. I'm calling you again. This is John Libretti, attorney at law. I have your dog. If you don't come get your dog from my location promptly, I'm calling the cops on you. And then my mom is yelling, go up to the street so they can see you and the dog, and then she can come get her dog and be done with it. I'm not going to the street. I got to work. I've been out here all morning. I got to go to work. I'm not going out to the street. They can come to me, or I'm calling the cops. And he kept saying he was going to call the cops. The only other thing more important than my dad than taking dumpies is calling the authorities on people. He loves being the Boy Scout. I talked to you guys about it last year when he wanted to call the authorities about the dead deer in our woods. He just loves the authorities, loves calling it for any reason. Now, I almost wanted him to call the cops. At that point, I almost wanted him to, just so I can hear the cops ream his ass out for wasting their time driving out to the middle of nowhere because a dog from the neighbor got out of his house and walked across the street to hang out with our dogs. And that's all it was. This husky came out from his house, crossed the street, and then sat in front of the front door so he can look into our house because he liked our dogs. He liked my parents' golden retriever. He wanted to play with Randy. He's just sitting out there looking in. Somebody please play with me. That's all it was. And the owner of the dog happened to be sleeping at the time or whatever. And the phone number on the collar was to her ex-husband who's in New York. So they were playing the weird telephone game where we called the number and that guy had to call his ex-wife to come get the dog. And it took a little while, but it was too long for my old man. And he wanted to call the cops. So I wanted the cops to come in there and ream his ass out just because he didn't want to walk up the hill to the house to let the neighbor know, hey, here's your dog. And we knew where the house was because when they first moved in a couple years ago, the dog got loose again. This is the second time in 3 years a dog got loose. It's really not a big deal, but it was enough to warrant a threat for police action by my old man. He was dying to call the police. Any excuse for him to call the authorities to get them over here and set the record straight. He wanted to do it. And this is where I wish I was famous and rich so that I could just have a film crew at all times ready to rock and roll so they could have got this on film like at a professional level because it was great. The yelling back and forth, yelling on the phone, I will call the cops. It was just a neighbor's dog. What are you gonna tell the cops? Hello, hello, police. Yeah, it's John Libretti again, attorney at law. I have this dog from my neighbor got loose and it's on my property and I have to go to work. And I called the owner and they still haven't got their dog. And now justice needs to be served. I don't know what he was going to tell the cops. Call animal control. Go to the neighbor's house and knock on the door. Tie the dog up and leave a note on the front porch. Hey, your dog got out. I saved it. He wanted to call the cops. Lost his mind and wanted to call the cops. So we had to deal with that. Everything ended up being okay, though. The lady came. She was very apologetic. She said that her ex-husband was, delaying and calling her, and she won't happen again. She was very sorry. And then my dad made sure she knew that the dog is very good. It's unfortunate. I almost called the cops. I just want to let you know I almost called the cops. Okay. I'm surprised he didn't tell her that he had to deal with potential delayed dumpies the night before. But he just had to let her know, hey, I almost had to hold in my dumps and I had to call the cops almost on you. So make sure this doesn't happen again so I don't have to call the cops on you for your dog escaping the yard. Crazy. That's exactly what the police in New Jersey want to deal with these days. They're getting defunded left and right. They're dealing with criminals spilling over from New York. And that's exactly what they want to do when they're on shift early morning, is come over to the Libretti Nut House because a neighbor's dog, a domesticated dog, got loose in a gated community. Give me a break. Anyway, we ended up having a good laugh. At least me and my mom had a good laugh. I don't know if my father laughed at it or not, but we had a good laugh about it. So follow that story up with the next day. Both of them were sick. My mother, I don't know, she like threw up in the morning, and then my dad was dealing with some sort of not a nasal issue, like a fluid in his body issue, lungs or whatever. He was coughing. I mean, didn't know if he had bronchitis or infection or whatever. So they were holed up in the house the whole day. Excuse me. And it was the first taste I got of what the retired life would be like with them. Both of them sitting inside, one on the recliner, one on the couch. My mom was switching from sitting on the couch to laying down on the couch. And they were flipping between Blue Bloods and old black and white movies and not getting up and doing anything. Now they were sick. So I understand, like, they're not going to go get up and do stuff and go for walks and stuff. But I hope that's not what happens when they get retired. I hope they find a hobby and they can go for walks and keep themselves busy doing separate things. So they're not just sitting there watching movies, yelling at each other about the constant volume changes or the channel flipping and all the other circus acts that go on over here. So they're better. Everybody's good to go. Everybody's better. No issues whatsoever in that regard. But it was, again, a fun, also worrisome thing to see from the outside looking in, like, oh, crap. They could be doing this every day for the rest of their existence after they retire. We got to figure out something to do. So got to get my old man to the gym. Got to find my mom some sort of club to join in town. Maybe there's a florist she can go hang out at. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But that is pretty much the updates on the Libretti household for this past week. A lot going on. I'm sure I missed something. I just can't remember what it is because a lot went down. But that's what we got in the Libretti universe. So, in other news, I just want to point out, I got this from the Bradley Blotter. He sent this to me. Another Ukrainian government official has been arrested for embezzling money. This time, this government official embezzled over $40 million from an ammunition contract that was signed through, the US. All the money we're giving them, it was through that, and he took 44 million of it for himself, and he got busted. So this is the accountability we have on the money that's going over there right now. Over the $120 billion that has gone over there. The government officials are pocketing it all. Okay. So I bring it up because it's just so infuriating that they've created this narrative of this blind support. Not that we shouldn't support our allies, but this blind support and just funneling money, unaccounted for money. What is disheartening about it, besides the fact that we don't know where the money's going, well, now we do, it's the government's pockets, is that we have pressing issues in our own country. We have riots still happening around. Crime rates are going through the roof in some areas. We have droves of illegal immigrants taking over the sanctuary cities. Every sanctuary city is all saying on the news, we're overrun. We don't have the capacity to hold all these people anymore. We need help. Help them. Let's help them. Let's help each other. We can't, this is like and this is probably, I'm sure this is the hot take for some people or an ignorant opinion or whatever you want to call it, but this is the how can you help your child if you're a parent? How can you help your child if you're not healthy enough to help them? If you have a broken leg, you can't run, you can't go for a walk with your kid. You can't, this is I'm butchering this adage here, this anecdote, this example, but if you're not healthy, if we're not healthy, how can we expect to be fully 100% there to help others? You can't. We're not even 100% ourselves. We need to help ourselves here so that we can provide actual adequate support and aid to our allies overseas, in my opinion, my 1 cent, humble, uneducated opinion. And we're not doing that right now. We're just throwing money at the problem. Oh, you want to help? Here's money. I don't care where it goes. It's not my money. It's their money. The citizens, they're paying the taxes and it's going there. And that's that. That's not helping. That doesn't actually help any situation. So I'm done. I'm off the soapbox about that. It's just very disheartening and infuriating. We have millions of people here that need help in our own country. And the priority as a government leader of America is to look out for Americans so that we can also help others. This is not this or that, us or them. It's us for them. Get us up to snuff so that we can get better help and aid and support and allyship to everybody who wants it. Allyship's not a real word. I just made it up, but that's okay. You get what I'm saying. Help us so that we can help others in turn. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I'm done. I'm bitching about it. I'm done bitching about it. That's it. I saw an interesting thing at the gym. I've been going to the gym, this one down the street, and it's the winter break for school, high school, colleges. So you get the younger crowd in the gym right now, kids home from school at high school. Most of these kids are high school. They're all wearing their local high school shirts and stuff and gear. They all look the same. They have the same style of clothes, the same perm haircuts with the curls on the top. I feel like the old guy looking at them and be like, you guys look stupid. But I know when I was younger, in middle school at least, I wanted to look like everybody else. I wanted to have the frosted tips and the cool haircuts, what we thought was cool. My parents thankfully didn't let me do that. I I kept my own look, flat top, no nonsense, looked like a fishbowl. But these kids all look the same. Their parents are not dictating their haircuts for them, so they all look exactly the same. I thought they were all brothers or twins or whatever, but they're not. They're just friends going out dicking around. What was funny though was that these kids were doing high school stuff. They were shit talking each other while working out. Most of them were not working out with heavy weights, so it was easy ammo for each other. Oh, you're only using 25 pounds for curls. Oh, and they were calling each other the hard F, for gay. And this is why it was funny to me. Not because I'm anti-gay or anything like that. It was funny because these kids are the word is still being used how it used to be back in the day. You used to call people that because it was like a little trash talk. Like, what are you, an F? You big time F. Whatever. It was funny. Nobody was saying it because they didn't like gay people. Um, but these kids were still using in public in the gym in 2023. And I thought for sure this generation of kids in high school would not be using that because they know, like, you don't want to get canceled. You can't be doing that. So it was funny to me to see that it's still going on. Kids are still being kids. They're still calling each other the same names, the same shit talks that we had when we were younger. So it was all in good fun. I don't think any of the kids got offended. I don't think anybody in the gym got offended by it. It was just funny to me. I am not anti-gay, and I'm not a proponent for anti-gay stuff. And we don't use hard F here at the LPDS. But it did make me laugh a little bit that these kids, all with perms, by the way, skinny perms, most of them were not lifting weights. Most of them were on their phones, just trash talking the two guys actually working out, and they were still calling each other hard Fs. It was a funny situation. You had to be there, I guess. But it reminded me of this article that came out a couple months ago, and the creature showed me this article because we got confused initially. It was an article for Billy Beane, who was an MLB player, and the article is about how Billy Beane has come out to announce that he has cancer. I don't know what kind of cancer, maybe leukemia, I want to say was in the article, and that he didn't tell his best friend, who was the manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks, because the Diamondbacks were in the World Series. He didn't want to distract him, so he told him after the fact. But he has cancer, and we were confused initially because we thought it was Billy Beane, the Oakland Athletics GM and part owner or whatever from Moneyball. And we're like, oh man, Billy Beane's got cancer. That stinks. At the end of the article, it just goes on the whole article about how he's fighting cancer. He didn't tell his friend because he didn't want to distract him. He was looking out for his friend, but he's been fighting this in silence and he's working through it. And he's gonna, thanks for the support and all this and that. Billy Beane came out, the last sentence, Billy Beane came out of the closet as a homosexual in late 1999. Period. End of article. And here's what's funny about that. First, we thought it was Moneyball Billy Beane. And we were trying to figure out, hey, we thought he was married with kids. The movie, I think, pretty sure it said he was married. Also, Brad Pitt didn't do anything to suggest that he was gay in the movie. I don't know, maybe he refused to do it. We were theorizing about why, Billy Beane was coming out, but he was married. Did he just come out? Like, what was the deal with the Billy Beane being gay situation? The funnier part was that it had nothing to do with the subject of the article. It didn't affect the cancer situation. It didn't make or break whether we thought Billy Beane was a bad guy. It had nothing to do with it. Why did they put it in there? It was like, oh, this guy, this old baseball player, played for a bunch of years, has cancer. He could be dying. He told his friend after the fact to take care of his friend's emotional state. By the way, he's a gay. Real sad story in the news, folks. Billy Beane, a beloved baseball great, is dying of cancer. Also, he sucks dicks. I still chuckle. This was months ago. This is World Series time it came out. And I still giggle laughing at that, of the fact that this quote unquote journalist felt it was important enough to mention in the article, oh, by the way, this guy right here who's dying, he's gay. Like, it was almost like the guy had a vendetta against this baseball player, Billy Beane, not GM Billy Beane. Like they were rivals in high school, and Billy Beane took his girl or something, and he'll never forgive him. I don't know what it was, but it was a jab. That's what it was. It was, I have the opportunity to take this jab. Maybe the journalist is homophobic. And he thought, like, oh, if I tell people he's gay, no one will care that he's got cancer, because he's like, this guy's gay. Who cares? No, it was completely out of left field, completely unnecessary, wildly hilarious. Wildly hilarious. Just, this guy is dying. And even though he's fighting cancer and he's dying and he's almost on his deathbed, he still decided not to break the sad news to his best pal, who was busy trying to win a World Series, because he didn't want to distract his best friend. And he was looking out for other people because he's such a good guy, even though he needs help right now. By the way, he does butt sex with guys on the side. I'm Tom Verducci, ESPN. Like, that's what it sounded. That's what it was like. It was so crazy. By the way, this guy's gay. I can't stop giggling about it. It's so stupid. Anyway, that's what we got in the current events. So let's just get right into it. Finally, we'll get into the good stuff, and we'll step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right, today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Shirley's Shoehorns. You ever find yourself trying to put on your sneakers and you can't seem to get your heel in properly, even though you've been putting on shoes for years and also have hands to help you get your heel in your shoe, but still you keep failing at one of the simplest things to do as a human? Then get yourself a Shirley's Shoehorn today. Shirley's Shoehorns were specifically designed for fat people who can't bend down, or for old people who actually have a reason for not being able to bend down to get their shoes on, but can also be used for lazy, stupid people who have no other excuse besides they are just too dumb and lazy to get their sneakers on without issue. Simply slide the shoehorn down the back of your shoe along your heel, then push your foot down into your shoe until it can't go any further. Then you can shove the shoehorn up your lazy, stupid ass until you need it again. It's that easy. So to get your shoehorn today, visit www.wearedoomed.com and use the promo code USELESS for 29% off your first shoehorn. I have never seen a capable human being who's not lazy and stupid use a shoehorn, need a shoehorn. I think it was one of the first inventions of, like, the as seen on TV type of inventions that really just took off for some reason, of like, this is really not a required item. This is not important at all, but we're going to trick people into thinking this is a revolutionary technology so that you don't have to bend over to get your shoes on and never have an issue again. The only people I've seen use a shoehorn were my grandparents, who were sick and old. My grandfather had a stroke and couldn't walk on his own, so he couldn't, he used a shoehorn to help himself out a little bit. And then I used a shoehorn as a kid because I was a dopey kid, and I told my grandfather's shoehorn. I was like, look, I'm using a shoehorn. Look at that. And I used it one time as a joke in my grandfather's kitchen, and he yelled at me, as he should have. Otherwise, I don't understand how shoehorns even took off as a thing. But apparently Shirley's got some decent shoehorns for you, and they fit in your bums. So Billy Beane must love them. Anyway, go get your shoehorn. All right, the cage fact. So in one of his interviews for Dream Scenario, Nic Cage was talking about movies he's done, and we'll have some future Cage facts on some of that information. But he talked about for this particular movie, he said that he realizes that his voice is very recognizable. You can hear it on radio. You don't have to be watching anything. You just know, oh, that's Nic Cage talking. That's his drawl, his twang, his whatever you want to call it. That's Nic Cage. So for this movie, he purposely raised his voice a little bit, the pitch of his voice, and he said used more of an adenoidal sound. And I don't know if that's nasally or more throaty or what the sound is, just slightly different so that it so that you're kind of separating yourself from the fact that this is Nic Cage on screen. This is the guy. This is Paul. This is the character Paul. He's a different guy from Nic Cage. It's not Nic Cage playing a guy. This is Paul. And apparently it went very well. I still have yet to see the movie. I've been falling behind on all my Nic Cage classics right now, but apparently it played very well because the movie is getting nothing but good press and good accolades. So I can't wait to see it. I tried to see one a couple days ago, but I was at my brother's house, Stix's place, and he wanted to watch Oppenheimer, so we watched Oppenheimer. It was at his house, so I didn't want, I'm a guest, didn't want to fight. I told him, I was like, hey, we got some Nic Cage movies we could catch up on. He's like, I don't want to do that. Well, I was like, well, after this movie, you're on friends, brother suspension for the next week. The fact that he was just so flippant about it, like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't know where he came from. He was probably, adopted or we grabbed the wrong baby in the hospital, whatever. He doesn't even look like us. So that's the Cage fact. We'll move it over to the junction, spin the logo up. New Year's. You guys know how I feel about New Year's. I hate it. The only good thing that comes from New Year's is the Libretti special profile pic. So by the time you see this, it's a happy new year and a happy profile pic 2024 to you guys. At the time of this recording, I haven't finished the picture yet. It's going to be, I always try my best to make them creative and funny and stupid. So I hope you guys enjoy it, but the profile pic will be out by then, and that'll be that. But that's the only good thing I like about New Year's, the holiday. Get off my chair, dude. You bum. Come on. Sorry about that, folks. That's the only thing I like about New Year's. I hate the countdowns in the city. Who is going into New York City or any big city to sit out in the cold, crammed up, wearing diapers? I say it every year, to watch a ball drop. Look, if the aliens are looking down on us, or if an enemy country is looking, I mean, I guess all the countries do, we're all stupid. But if an enemy alien force is looking down on New Year's on this earth and seeing how stupid we all are and how sheepish we are, it's like, oh, just because somebody said it's a good time, we're gonna all go and stand up there and freeze our asses off watching a metal ball go down a stripper pole. They would be like, oh, we don't even need to use our big weapons. We can convince these guys to just surrender. Look how stupid they are. They just follow each other around. So I don't understand it. You know how I don't like the New Year's resolution, reset day, starting fresh. No, you're not. I was watching, what the heck is that comedian's name? I was just watching his comedy special on Netflix. God, I have his face in my head. He did the Batman on Bad Humor or whatever that website was, Will Ferrell's website, Badman. That guy. Damn, I forgot his name. Someone in the comments can hit me up. Maybe I'll put it in the caption of the episode. I forgot his name. But he said it. He's like, today was a year ago from last year's today. So whatever date it is, pick a date. December 10th is a year, December 10th, 2023 is a year later from December 10th, 2022. We don't celebrate that. Why is it like, I know it's a quote unquote a new year, but it's just another day. And it's everything about it I hate. It's a fake holiday. It's just as bad as Valentine's Day, in my opinion. It's very stupid. The only good thing, I said this already. The only good thing besides Profile Pick 2022 is you can use it as an excuse to go hang out with friends who, if they're all in town at one certain time, maybe you have, childhood friends, you're all back with family for the holidays, and it's an excuse to go hang out with them and just chill and have a couple drinks, watch some TV or dick around, whatever it is. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be going to the Weasel's house, Matt Steele. I don't even know why. I don't even like the kid. My brother and I were joking that he looks like a more fit Danny DeVito. He just walks around like, oh, yeah. He's got that high helium voice. Hey guys, like that little toady from Christmas Story. Grover Weeks. I don't know why I'm going to his house, but a bunch of us are all going to be in the area, so we're going to hang out there and just. I haven't seen him in a while, so it'll be good to hang out with all those guys again. That's it. That is New Year's. It's not. It just happens to be New Year's. We can, if we had another weekend to do it, we would have picked another weekend to do it. But it just happened to be New Year's. That's it. My message to people every year is to not get caught up in the bullshit of New Year's resolutions. And this is when I'm going to start going to the gym, and I'm starting my diet on Tuesday of this year because that's the day after New Year's, and that's when it starts. And everything good is going to start tomorrow. That is the fresh start. Here's the thing, guys. Just start. Okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need to schedule a day to start. Okay? Just start. If you want to get in shape, you want to be more physically fit, just go to the gym today. Find the time of your day to just go to the gym. Even if you go for 5 minutes just to sign up. Just start. If you have a goal that I want to start a business, start now. Look up the stuff needed and just start the process now. Don't sit there and be like, oh, January 2nd, that's when I'm going to start looking up how to start a business and set up an LLC and do this and do that. Just do it now. Think about what you got going on right now and just do it now. Okay? And I speak about this from, stop it, Randy, from a position of experience and knowledge, because I was that guy. And I'm still that guy, that I'm pushing away from that mindset of, oh, I'm going to start this then. Like, oh, when I get back to Texas, that's when I'm going to start looking for this and this and this for my business. No, it is a procrastinator's excuse. It's the excuse of the lazy. It is the crutch of the lazy. That's what it is, a crutch of the lazy. It's any sort of reason to not just take action now. I know the idea of, oh, new year, starting fresh, this is my year, blah, 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 whatever. Make your new year start now. If it's December 10th, January 5th, November 1st, that's your new year. And then go till next November 1st. That's your year. Start now on whatever it is you're trying to achieve or you say you want to achieve, whatever goals you think you want to accomplish or hobbies you want to take up or anything. Just shut up and try it now. Okay? And see how it goes. You don't have to sit there and plan out your fitness schedule. I'm going to start on January 2nd. I'm going to sign up. I'm going to do cardio. And then the next day I'm going to do upper body. And the next day I'm going to do legs. And the next day I'm going to do back. And just go. Hey, I got time now. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to talk to the people at the front desk. Hey, what's the membership fees? What do you got? Can you give me a tour? Do you have trainers? How expensive are they? I want to join. I want to get physical. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Help me out a little bit. But I'm starting now because if I don't get off my stupid lazy ass now, I'm always going to find an excuse why it's always going to be tomorrow. Start day is always tomorrow. Make start day today. Make it today. Go out there, try it out. You're going to fail. Look, everything we do, every goal you're trying to accomplish, every hobby you're trying to take up, every whatever, you're going to fail through the first couple times, okay? You're not going to go to the gym on January 2nd and then be fit by the end of January and be like, that's it, I accomplished my goal, I did it. No, you're going to stumble through everything. You're not going to take up woodworking and just be a master craftsman overnight. If you are, more power to you. You probably would be kicking yourself in the ass a little bit more because you could have started earlier, but instead you waited till I got a schedule on the new year, new me, and that's when I'll do it. And then you're realizing, man, I had this gift this entire time, and I could have started earlier. I could have been making money off of it. I could have been making beautiful pieces of furniture and artwork and whatever. But you'll never know until you find out by starting. Just get it over with. Rip the Band-Aid and just go. Then you go to the gym, you start figuring out, well, what does this machine do? And then the next day, you go. And then maybe a couple days you fail. You can't wake up early enough. You didn't schedule, your schedule was all kind of scattered, and you missed the gym. And now you know, oh, I got to work on my time management, my prioritization. So now I'll schedule my day for tomorrow, and I'll do the gym at this time, and I'll block it off, and I'll schedule everything else around that, and then I'll go, and then I'll do whatever. And you learn that way, and you keep going through it. And if you have the two things in your mind the entire time, you're going to be fine. One, I just got to keep going. And two, I know I'm going to fail. There's going to be hurdles. There's going to be things I need to adapt to and overcome to make it through. It's not going to be perfect. So instead of wasting your time with most things, coming up with the perfect plan, this is foolproof. I'm not gonna fail at all. This is gonna be exactly what I'm doing. It's a 1 year fitness program, fitness regimen, or business regimen. I'm gonna set up the LLC. I'm gonna market, and by the next month, I'm gonna have 15 customers and clients, and the next month I'm gonna have 100, and by the end of the year, I'm gonna be a millionaire. It never just goes that way, guys. Okay? So just start. Hey, I want to sell it. I want to set up my own business. I'm going to go look up LLCs right now. Oh, it takes this. Okay, now I know how much time it's going to take, how much money it'll cost, what I need to do, if I need to talk to an attorney, if I can do it by myself, if I need a tax guy involved, whatever. Now I got it. Instead, you're wasting time planning for stuff you've never experienced before. Oh, I've never worked out before in my life, so I'll plan my workouts now, and then come January, I'll go work out. No big deal. And then I'll start getting fit and whatever. And then you go there and you're like, shit, I don't know what these machines do. I didn't realize how tired I was going to be after one set of bench press. What the hell am I going to do? And that's why most people fail. Because the going gets tough. They get thrusted into the unknown against their plan. They have something in your head, and this is coming from experience. Again, this is coming from experience, folks. I am not sitting here on some sort of moral high horse telling you be like me. I know what I'm doing and talking about all the time. Here's a recommendation because I made the mistakes already. I make the mistakes so you don't have to. Okay, think of it that way. And I have course corrected, so I'm not doing that stuff anymore. To great success compared to how I was doing things in the past. I learned the hard lessons so that I can learn, grow, and improve myself, and so that you can learn, grow, and improve without having to deal with the hardships of the lessons sometimes. And I realize sometimes people need to learn the hard lessons, and that's how we grow. But for a lot of this stuff, Let me do the dirty work for you. Let me do the heavy lifting for you. And I'm telling you, again, this is just a recommendation. I'm not forcing you to, but I'm telling you, if you come up with a very serious, thorough plan for something you have very little experience in or no experience or knowledge at all, you're creating a situation where the hurdles are going to be much higher and the obstacles are going to be much greater because your brain is already set on this plan. This is my plan of action. This is my timeline. I'm set. I'm ready to go. And you feel accomplished. I made this plan. I'm feeling very ready to rock and roll. Now I'm set up because I have a plan in place. I have this foundation. I'm going to be good to go. And I get it. Plans are good. But there's a threshold. And stuff that most people, this is for the New Year's crowd, most people set as their goals for the new year are stuff you don't have to sit down and plan that much. You really don't. Most of it is fitness related or diets. And they use New Year's as the crutch so I can sit and plan. And sometimes people don't even plan. They just use it as the crutch. Yeah, in 3 days, that's when I'll do it. That's when I'll start my diet. But right now, I'll plan to start my diet then. And all of this to say is cut the shit. Stop bullshitting yourselves. Stop looking yourself in the mirror and lying to yourselves about, don't worry, this is it. This is my year. This is going to happen. Your year should start right now. If you have a goal in mind that you're really adamant about actually working towards and not just some lip service just to say, that's another thing too. I'm going off on a tangent here. That's another thing that happens too. Because it's New Year's, people feel obligated to just throw out these resolutions and goals that they know they're not even going to try for, but everybody else is doing it because it's New Year's. So I got to have a new year, new me attitude. And I'll throw this out there on Facebooks or Instagrams and I'll be good to go. And that'll be that. And then they never come back to look and to give everybody a progress update at the end of the year because they know they're not doing shit. They're using it because everybody else is doing it. But if you have an actual goal and something you want to accomplish, whatever it may be, and you want to take it seriously, just start now. Okay? And you can call it planning. You can call whatever you want. Just start now. Look up the gyms in your area. Look up healthy, whole foods that you can start on your diet and why processed foods are so bad here in America, what they're loaded with, why seed oils are bad, why this is bad, why this is good. That's taking action. Now you have knowledge. Now you can go to the grocery store with that knowledge instead of going to the grocery store with nothing. Hey, I don't know. This Slim Fast says it's healthy. It's Slim Fast. This TV dinner says, made with real chicken. I'm probably not making a lot of sense to a lot of people. I get it. I'm talking in tangents. I'm going off. My crazy brain is just, when I get frustrated about something like New Year's, I go off on tangents and I'm not making a lot of sense. And I'm sure I'm talking like in circles and I'm contradicting myself. I don't even know. When I go back and edit this episode, I'll probably be like, dude, you're not even making any sense. Shut up. And that's what happens when you sit there and you stew in your brain talking about stuff and not taking action on stuff. Okay, so once again, learn from me. If you have goals, just start them now. If you need help, hit me up. Hit the hotline, 202-670-1114. I'm always going to be here to try to help and do what I can to help everybody in the LPDS universe. If you want help with anything, let me know. I'll do my best to help you out. But get your ass in gear and get started. And you don't need New Year's to do that, I promise you. You don't need to wait to do that. What happens when you wait till New Year's and then 2 weeks later, like your plan goes to shit? You weren't mentally prepared to deal with hurdles and obstacles. Are you just going to quit and be like, okay, I guess I'll wait till 2025 now because I got to wait till the end of the year. New year, new me, right? No, you wouldn't do that realistically. You don't do that throughout the rest of the year. So just start now. Do it now. And if you need help, let me know. And I know this, again, this episode is wildly nonsensical. Between the LPDS universe current events and updates and this jacked up junction, New Year's gets me very angry. Not depressed and sad because it's like, oh, another year of missed opportunity. No, it's just angering to see so many people get caught up in the stupid shit and not the important stuff. So that's the lesson. Focus on the important stuff. Don't go out there and count down a ball dropping in the freezing cold. Go hang out with your friends and family, important people in your lives. Use it as an excuse to get together for cheaper, and you're not freezing your asses off. And then get your ass moving on your goals and stick to them. Okay? If you know you're going to fail and there's going to be hurdles and obstacles that you have to get through, and whatever you have in your brain initially of how things are going to go, it's not going to happen that way. If you understand that, and you get it in your mind immediately that no matter what, I'm just going to keep going and keep plugging away, no matter what those failures are, no matter what those obstacles are, no matter what those hurdles are, no matter how off track from the original plan I am, as long as I'm moving towards the goal, I'm going to get to it. If you have those two things set in your brain and understand them, you're going to be successful. You're going to be fine in your life, and you can start right now to accomplish those goals. You don't have to wait till New Year, new me. Okay, you don't have to put on the stupid glasses that say 2024 on them and blow the stupid streamers or whatever they're called and go outside and freeze your balls off. Well, your balls probably will be warm because you pee in your diaper while you're sitting there all night. Go out there and accomplish your goals. And if you need help, right here, 202-670-1114, or hit me on a DM or whatever you want to do, and I'll help you out. That's it. That's all I want to talk about. New Year's, a lot of nonsense. I went around a lot of circles. I didn't make a lot of sense. I apologize for that. I'll get a little bit. When I talk about stuff that frustrates me initially, I need to do a better job of structuring my communication. I need to stay on point and stop contradicting myself, stop going off on tangents, stop letting the emotions get the best of me. So hopefully I wasn't too crazy for you guys, and that you enjoyed it, but that's all I got. Okay, before we go, the big three, the three pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being and spreading that goodness and positivity throughout the land. Number one, exercise every day. Whether it's a physical, mental, or emotional workout, do one exercise every day to improve your health physically, mentally, emotionally. Number two, don't be a shitty person, be a kind person. When the opportunity arises to be shitty and be negative, realize your emotions in that situation, detach from them, take the LPDS step back, and omit yourself from that situation so that you're minimizing the negativity and shit going on in the world around you, and you're pulling yourself out of the negative so that you can have the capacity to be in the positive and productive in your lives. Okay. Number three, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. Because if you take the time to sit there and think about it, you have a lot of good shit in your lives. And if you think about how shitty your lives would be like without that good stuff and those good people and good times, that's how you get into the state of gratitude. Instead of taking things for granted, you're going to be grateful and thankful for those good things because you can't imagine how shitty your life would be without that. And you can do that by scheduling that out in your day. When you wake up, first thing you do when you wake up, think of one good thing in your life and how shitty your life would be without it. Or if you're on a long drive somewhere, you can do it then too. In the shower, on a walk, while you're on the treadmill working out. Just build it into your days. Just do it. Don't plan it, just do it. And if you do those three things, I promise you guys, and I know the ones who actually do it day in and day out can attest to this. You do it every day, slowly but surely, you will be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being. You can spread that goodness and positivity throughout the land. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and push notifications, and tell your friends and enemies, and hit the hotline 202-670-1114 so that I can answer questions and get funny jokes and comments, and we'll have a good time with it. Please, I love the hotlines. Hit that hotline, 202-670-1114. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.